He never imagined that one ordinary afternoon would become the day he would remember for the rest of his life. He stood quietly across the street, staring at a small house with trembling hands. Cars passed, children laughed by, life moved on as if nothing had happened. But for him, time had stopped. He had been standing there for almost an hour. Three times he had tried to walk to the front door. Three times he turned back. What was behind that door? Why was he afraid to knock? What had happened that made a man who never cried suddenly struggle to hold back tears? He took one slow breath and looked at something in his hand. It was old, folded so many times. Its edges were worn out as if it had been opened and closed 100 times. He whispered to himself, if only I had listened. But listened to whom? The answer was hidden in the very mistake that had destroyed his own happiness. Months earlier, his life looked perfect from the outside. He had a stable job, people respected him, and everyone believed he had made the best decision of his life. Even his friends congratulated him, telling him he had finally chosen someone who truly deserved him. There was only one person who quietly disappeared from his life without arguing. She didn't beg, she didn't fight, she didn't expose him. She simply walked away. At that time, at the time, he thought her silence meant she didn't care or she didn't love him. He didn't even have he couldn't have been he couldn't have been more wrong. As weeks passed, strange things started happening. The excitement in his new relationship slowly disappeared. The laughter became the laughter became argument. The peace became pressure. The woman he had once chosen seemed different from the person he thought he had knew. But every time doubt entered his mind, he pushed them away. No relationship is perfect. He kept telling himself that. Then one evening, something happened that refused to leave his mind. He accidentally overheard a conversation. His name was mentioned. He stopped walking. He listened. Every word that followed felt heavier than the last one. Everyone laughed and said he still believes everything we told him. His heart skipped. Who were they talking about? Before he could hear more, the conversation ended. That single sentence became a question he could never answer. What had they told him? What did he know? For days, he searched for the truth without letting anyone notice. He checked old messages. He remembered conversations he had ignored. He replayed moments that once seemed meaningless. Slowly, the pieces began to fit together. He discovered that many of the things he had believed about the woman he had left had never come from her. They came from other people, people he trusted, people who smiled in front of him while quietly poisoning his mind behind his back. Every warning she gave him suddenly made sense at that time. Every moment she remained silent now carried a meaning he had completely missed. The greatest shock came when he found the letter she had written on the day she left. She had never planned to give it to him. A mutual friend had kept it after she refused to send it to him. His hands his hand stuck as he unfolded it. The first sentence broke him. I know one day you will discover the truth. By then, I pray your heart will still be strong enough to carry it. He could not continue reading for several minutes. His vision blurred with tears. Every page revealed sacrifices she had made. She had protected him from the problems he never knew. She had defended him when others laughed at him. She had covered his mistakes instead of exposing them, yet he believed the lies because lies were louder than quiet love. That night he didn't sleep. For the first time in years, he admitted something he had refused to say. I was wrong. But saying those words didn't repair the damage. The next morning, he learned she had started rebuilding her life. She wasn't waiting for him. She wasn't trying to make him jealous. She simply had chosen peace. That hurt him more than rejection because he finally understood something painful and understanding it very late. The person he thought would always be there had learned how to live without them. The realization brought him back to the house where the story began, the same house he had been staring at for an hour. He finally gathered enough courage to knock. The door slowly opened. She stood there. Neither of them spoke. There were no dramatic speeches, no shouting, no blames, only silence. The kind of silence that carries years of unanswered questions. She looked at him with calm eyes. He looked at her with eyes filled of regret. I didn't come to ask you to take me back, he said quietly. She waited. I came because you deserve the apology I never gave you for a long time. For the first time since everything fell apart, she smiled, not because she wanted him back, but because the truth had finally reached the person who had refused to see it. He walked away that day with tears in his eyes. He never thought this day would come. The day he realized that losing someone who truly loved him was never his greatest punishment. The greatest punishment was discovering the truth only after he had lost the most important and the one person who loved him genuinely.